This meeting to order.
Wednesday.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we take a roll call, I'd like to introduce Mr. Michael Sanchi. He's a village attorney. We have a new member here. This is Brian Mark.
Nice to meet you.
We have a roll call, please.
Okay. Village President Deadlock.
Here.
Brian Martin. Here. Jason Martin. Here. Gary Morgan. Present. Andrew Nowak will be absent, I understand. Jody Wackerman.
Here.
And Susie Wood.
Present.
Do we have a motion to approve village board minutes as presented dated July sixth, 2026?
I will make a motion to approve village board minutes dated July 6th, 2026.
I'll second that motion. I'm sorry, who seconded it? Okay, motion to approve previous meeting minutes from July sixth. Motion is made by Ms. Wackerman,
Yes.
seconded by Brian Martin.
Yes.
Jason Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Morgan,
Yes.
and Ms. Weedle.
Yes.
Do we have any public comment this evening? No. Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion for bills for payment and payroll?
Yes, I move to approve bills for payment dated July 16th, 2026 from the corporate general fund in the amount of $16,619.06. Also dated July 16th from the motor fuel tax fund, $11,500. Also dated July 16th from the TIP account, $76,027.05. Also move to approve payroll ending July 4th in the amount of $23,236.29. Ending July 14th, stipend of $2,493.36.
I'll second.
Anybody have any questions about either the payables or the payroll?
I have one comment, if I may, sure. If you look on the bills, there's two items there. One is the Grant Park Historical Society is a sponsorship for $100. And the other is Grant Park Youth Softball for $100 sponsorship. We've done this for a number of years. Carrie asked me beforehand, this money would come out of the mayor's account. There's an account that we have to give banners and sponsorships. So we don't need to vote on it, but if you see it on the bills, that's what it's for.
No further questions? Okay. Motion to approve bills for payment as follows. Dated July 16th, we have general fund in the amount of $16,619.06. Motor fuel tax in the amount of $11,500 even. And out of the TIP account, $76,027.05. Payroll ending July 4th in the amount of $23,236.29. And stipend from ending July 14th in the amount of $2,493.36. Motion is made by Mr. Morgan,
Yes.
seconded by Ms. Weedle.
Yes.
Ryan Martin,
Yes.
Jason Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Wackerman.
Yes.
Our reports, Clerk Scott Dillman.
I have nothing to.
As far as the attorney and engineer report, we'll do that later in the meeting. I have something for each. And we'll do that at the end. Ordinances and Insurance Committee Chairperson Susie Weedle.
No report.
Thank you, ma'am. Streets and Alley Committee Chairperson Jason Martin.
The only thing I got to add is that we're still working on getting that stop sign moved over to Mosher. NICOR is kind of dragging their feet a little bit, so we're waiting on them to mark lines, but once they do, we'll get it moved. And that's all I got.
One question on that, was brought to my attention that when the new stop sign is put in place, there'll be on the other side of the backside of the sidewalk. Would that be the correct way to put that, Bill Jean?
On, before the sidewalk.
Well, I mean, not past the sidewalk before you would get to the sidewalk. So,
Sorry, before you get to the
so it
sidewalk.
seems like the locates are all on the front part of it, so. It
Yeah, I
would
think
be,
so,
yeah, all right.
from what I've seen.
I mentioned it, I just want to make sure that didn't have it where you're beyond the corner and then you have the stop sign, so.
Yeah, I went farther earlier today to see if Nightport
Is there-
marked it,
There is
but
a,
I don't see anything on the other side.
there's a bunch of flags and stuff, so it
Yeah.
kind of looks like it's gonna go like right on the corner of the roadway.
Yeah, it
That
does
one.
actually kind of look like
Okay.
that.
Just
But,
where-
It should be on both sides and they're supposed to put up a nice orange flag to let you know that it's new, so.
All right, well, just so we're all on the same page with that, so, all right. Anything else, sir?
That is it.
Thank you. Finance Committee Chairperson, Gary Morgan.
Yes, I gave you a copy of a new TIF request that we have, along with kind of a long history of how the TIF has worked in Grant Park. Again, the main idea of the TIF is to improve either the street structure or the buildings to make property revenue or property values go up so that taxes increase. It doesn't increase the tax rate, but because the value of property goes up, it increases the taxes we actually see. And out of the 10 ones that I listed here that we've done over the past, a couple of those have done a lot to do that. We had a building that was originally valued at $50,000 and equalized assessed valuation dropped down to 20. And with the TIF, it's expected to go back up to 50. Some of these others have been less, maybe only $1,000 in improved value, but the general idea is it all looks better. And it does increase the equalized assessed valuation. Over the last 4 years, our EAV has gone up over $1 million. So I don't know if it's all because of TIF, but it certainly did help. Anyway, in your packet, you have a TIF application that is completely new. We have never had one from a resident, and we've never had one from a resident asking for help with their sewage pipes. And again, it's in the TIF district, and theoretically you can make improvements to homes, but generally speaking, they're to make it look more presentable and increase the value. I really don't think this is going to increase the value of the property. And the other thing is, if you do say we are going to do this, it's going to open the door to other people that want to do the same kind of thing. In fact, a guy came in and Ben took care of him, an apartment owner. He wanted us to replace the sewage pipe from his downstairs apartment to the septic tank at village expense. And of course, the village has never done any of the plumbing or the sewage treatment between a house and the septic tank. Back when we ran the sewage system, we took care of the septic tank and the septic tank's connection basically to the treatment plant. So between the septic tank and the house, we've never done that. But what I'm asking you, if you want to do this TIF, the next step is for us to send it to the TIF administrator and to the TIF attorney who's here today. And that's going to be a fee because that's their business. They look at these things and give us an opinion. And my guess is they're going to say pretty much the same thing I just did. That this never happened before, probably won't raise the equalized assessed valuation. But again, something I think we could do. Did you want to?
It's the cost of replacing a sewer service line would be eligible, but you're right, it won't increase the value. And you're gonna request like this. Now, 6,000 is not a lot, but I think if this is something the village wants to look at doing, it might be worth taking the time to put together a program so that you can do things like cap it at $7,500 or $10,000, so you don't end up with some really big requests. It's also fine to do a case by case, but yeah, this would be new for the village. And what the TIF administrator will tell you is that this isn't going to increase the TIF return at all.
So
And that is,
Nothing wrong with that. It's just wrong. Sorry.
and that's the sole purpose, not sole, but that's the purpose of TIF. So
The purpose of TIF is to create a stream of money into an account that can be used to remove blight and better the community. And one of the things you can do with TIF is replace utilities. And this would still constitute utilities, even though it's a private service line. Renovation of existing buildings, not creation of new buildings, those all sorts of things. The idea is to remove blight and, there's nothing wrong with doing this kind of program, but it isn't something the village has done before.
So I guess what my question is to you tonight is, do we want to proceed with this? Or do we want to say no now? And again, that's why we're kind of taking a poll, because again, the next step is gonna cost us about $900.
Before we do that.
Yes,
can I ask the question, do we know if we were to move forward with something like this, how many residences are within the community would be eligible? And what percentage of all of the residential houses within city limits would not be? You know what I'm saying? What percentage would that actually be?
Okay, to kind of go at it in a convoluted way, there are parts of the town that are not in the TIF district. So all of Griffin, the new housing developed east of town, and I believe Lake Matonga would qualify.
Yep.
Because they're not in the TIF district.
Right.
Basically, all the houses that are in the so-called possibly blighted area of the town, any of us could apply to have that same sewage pipe replaced if we needed to.
So essentially, it's not something available to all of the. people
Not to
within city
all of the
limits.
residents.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
It's available to anyone who's in the TIF.
Yeah.
Those additional residences were typically built after the TIF was created, or
Yep.
if not, they were just, the conditions weren't there.
Okay.
And again, one of the things that you could consider is like maybe storm windows on the house. Somebody could fill out an application for that. That'd be another opportunity for say, yeah, maybe not, but it would certainly improve the structure. Possibly new storm windows might increase the value a little. Because you could see them. And again,
Understood.
what you can see is definitely gonna have a value, I guess.
Yeah, the other observation is that a house without a working sewer, the value plummets pretty fast.
Yes,
Which,
that's true.
if it drops.
That's the other side of it.
That's the other side of it.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that maybe the board should consider is that in other communities where they do kind of smaller dollar programs, whether they're aesthetic or not, they create a program and they say, this is what we're gonna do, and we've got this much money budgeted for it, and we've got, this is the cap, and here's what's eligible, and here's what you have to do to apply, just to avoid getting deluged with all kinds of requests, because technically storm windows, roofs, exterior paneling, painting, any kind of renovation of the house is technically an eligible cost under TIF, though that doesn't mean the village needs to support the TIF dollars.
Understood.
So again, what I think Mike is saying is that not only couldn't we say cap how much we pay for a particular project, but probably cap how much we'd spend in a year for all the projects that fit in this category.
Just to avoid,
Yeah.
the concerns that we're gonna
Overdo it.
blow out the TIF fund,
Yeah.
trying to treat everyone the same.
Yeah.
You can set some parameters.
Makes sense.
So again, given that, I mean, the idea that we could approve this, I mean, basically they're asking for $5,000. I mean, there's a little bit of an error in here that we're getting to fix in the application, but he's asking for 5,000. So it costs us about $6,000 to do it. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. Jody, what do you think?
Thank you.
Hmm.
I'm unsure how I think, actually, if it's something that we would do, it does need to have some type of parameters because there has to be a limit. There's going to be a line at the door with residents wanting to do all sorts of projects that they want an application for that could qualify for this. And I think that might be an issue. On the other hand, I don't feel like that would be the best use for the TIF money. It's a residence, which is not something that has been typically done, so. That's how I stand on that.
So is that a yes or a no?
I'm going to say no.
Okay, Brian,
I'm also going to say no.
Okay, Jay,
I'm gonna say no, simply because, we wouldn't want the floodgates to burst.
Okay.
In its current state, I would say that absolutely not, but I am not opposed to listening to a program that would help later on, to just kind of limit the bursting,
okay,
where we're just completely flooded with all kinds of, requests.
so maybe we do come up with like a limit per project and a number of projects that we
Yeah.
can do in a year.
Sure.
And once we have that in place, look at what comes up. Okay, Susie,
Um. I am a yes,
okay,
if it does fall in the parameters of it,
there it
then
does,
to me, that's black and white.
okay. Okay, well, I think we have a feel for it. We'll probably, I don't know, it's 3 to,
And your vote?
I didn't vote, did I?
No, it's your
That's a
turn.
good catch. Again, I think I'm kind of torn, like Jody was, because I think that this is something that fits into the parameters. No value is going to accrue from it, but as Mike also pointed out, if they don't fix their septic, I mean, eventually the house is gonna have to be closed and not used, and then it will fall apart. But I think I'm gonna vote no. So we have 4-1. And I'm glad you said yes, because I think it's nice that we show that we're not just rubber stamping things. Okay, moving on. We've had some movement as far as getting new auditors. Um, Joe Hubbard and I did reach out to somebody, Hayes, Cigna Hayes, Accounting, and Jeff Hayes sent us a questionnaire that Joe and I completed and sent back to him along with a copy. Brian also sent us, Carmen Hazinga from SKDO, Ski-Doo maybe, but SKDO anyway. And she called me back and we talked last week. And I think both of them are going to say they can't really start with FY 25, even though that's the one where we're going to be penalized for, because you don't want to start an audit that's somehow going to be affected by what the audits from 2 previous years come up with. I mean, if they come up with some kind of an exception and say the numbers are off, like with even a couple $100, it's going to throw off the basis of the FY 25 audit. So I think what we're waiting on both of them, they're both kind of experiencing, they want more information. And Carmen's going to talk to Carrie when she gets back and Joe, so that she gets an idea of what it is that we really are involved with for FY 22, 23, 24. Lauderbeck is working on 22, and one of the other things we need to find out is what kind of contract we have with them, because I think the attorney needs to know what we signed. And I did not sign the contract, Jamie did back in the early days. We're gonna try and find what we signed with Lauderbeck to see exactly what it is that we're gonna have to do with them, but they're not helping us now. They are screwing up FY 22. And again, it took them 2.5 years to do 21, and then they screwed up what they put in with the controller. I mean, they did eventually fix it, but Ben had to threaten them. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at, and it looks like something's gonna happen this week, and we're kind of approaching on several fronts. We're also working with the controller to fix some information that they think if we put it in for FY 25, even though it's not an official audit, it will cut back on at least, if not completely eliminate, some of the fees that we're gonna have to pay, penalties. So that we're working on too. Beyond that, unless you have any questions, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, sir. Community Outreach Chairperson Jody Wackerman.
Thank you. We are still planning our Fall Fest. It will be September 12th and September 3rd, or Sunday, the 13th. Friday will be kicked off with a bike ride and a movie in the park by Gibbs. Saturday, we have all of our typical family-friendly attractions. We have our inflatables, the petting zoo, the parade, the prizes, reptile show, Highlanders, our chili contest, and we have our grand prize raffle tickets, which is going to be a gas raffle. So we're raffling off gas gift cards. We have $300, $200, and $100. So I would like to make a motion to approve the expenses for Fall Fest, these are for Saturday attractions as well as some for them on Sunday, not to exceed $6,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion to approve the expenses for the Fall Fest, Saturday attractions. Not to exceed the cost of $6,000. Motion is made by Ms. Wackerly,
Yes.
seconded by Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Brian Martin,
Yes.
Jason Martin.
Yes.
And Susie.
Yes,
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Building and Grounds Committee Chairperson Brian Martin.
No report at this time.
Thank you, sir. Law Enforcement Committee Chairperson Angie Noack, she isn't here tonight, so we'll hear from Police Chief Alberto Castillo.
All right, yeah, Susie, or Angie and I were talking about the extra officer on Sundays. Right now, because the crowd has been so little, I'm pretty much doing just a as needed basis. So last Sunday, I didn't have somebody come out.
Perfect.
This Sunday, I probably won't until I start seeing crowd come back. But that's what Angie and I were talking about when we were doing that. Then the other thing we were gonna talk about is body cameras. I'd like to get one more license for the body cameras because we are gonna need at least one extra for the fest area time. And the only way you can get an extra one is if you pay the whole year license. I originally came to her with, for two of them, that would have been about $900. I was looking at everything, I could probably get away with just one extra, which is only $470, I think it was. Cause we would have to pay for the whole year, so I would rather do that now, so this way I can assign my cameras to each officer. Each officer is responsible, and then I have the one extra. Because I don't see the use of paying a whole year license for just 2 days. So if we can, I know the money's not been budgeted this year for it, but if we can get that, either way, we're gonna have to pay for it. Because every officer has to have a body camera. So that's what we were talking about, to see if we can get an extra license for the body cameras. And so I don't know if she has to bring like a vote for it or not, or.
We could address the board about that right now. If the board, what we're gonna do, as the police chief said, the extra officer will be brought in as needed. We won't bring one in. There'll be some savings there. He said one body camera, $470, is that
Yeah, I
correct?
believe that's what it was.
Okay.
That sounds right.
So, the question is to the board right now, can he go ahead and, I guess is that to put it on the cloud or to get the license for it?
You have to get a license when,
So he has the software.
yeah,
So the question to the board is, can he go ahead and do this? If he has the verbal okay now, we can get it on the next agenda to officially vote on it.
Yeah.
But if the board agrees to it, then at least you can get the process going. We can put it on the next agenda and then officially vote on it. So, everybody's thoughts. Okay,
Yes.
yes. Everybody please.
I've got a question if that's okay.
Yes, certainly.
So you were talking about every officer has a body camera and then you'd have an extra, so the license is for the extra one?
yes.
And this is just from my own knowledge, during the Fall Fest, we need an extra one because we bring an extra officer on? or
Yes,
what do we
because
do?
I have an average of like 6 to 7. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I have 6 to 7 officers working through that day. Cause we got the day stuff and then all the night stuff. I got 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I got 6 at night just for the parade and for the fest itself.
Got it.
So if the board's in agreement, everybody feels it's, we can go ahead and do this. We'll put it on the next agenda to formally vote on it. But, you can make arrangements with whoever you need to.
And
And
it's just calling, what's his name?
Jason. Okay, well, you could make the call, the board agreed to this, and then we'll get a formal vote at the next meeting. And if I get a chance, or if you get a chance, we'll mention it to Angie that this is what we agreed to.
Okay.
Chief, you have anything else?
E-scooters. We've been seeing them a lot around a lot, and I got a couple of calls of kids riding them. It's not in effect yet as of January 2027. That's the new e-scooter law. Class 1 and 2 e-scooters or e-bikes are only up to 20 miles per hour. Yeah, right now, there's no limit on the age. But as of January 27, it's gonna be 16 years old. Or 15 years old for the 1 and 2s. And for the class 3, which is up to 28 and more miles per hour, that's gonna be a 16-year-old and with a license. So you're gonna, for that style bike, you're gonna have to be a legal driver in order to use it. And same with the scooters are gonna be, 18-year-olds and a valid driver's license, and they can only ride them on roads less than 35 miles per hour. So, but that comes into effect as of January 1st. So, but right now, we've seen kids riding them on the street, and I've gotten complaints about them already, and we've counseled them on how to stop at stop signs and stuff.
Well, until this law is passed, really, you can't, there's nothing you can officially do
Correct,
until this becomes law,
yes.
other than maybe explaining to them the dangers of
Yeah.
watching traffic. And
Yeah.
Okay.
And then tell the parents so they can at least do something.
Well, we don't want to see anybody get hurt,
Yeah.
whether it's someone walking the street, one of the kids on the bikes, or
Yeah,
Can
'cause
we hand those out to possible scooter and bike riders?
yeah, I was gonna give some to kids and leave some here at the village hall. And then take them to the high school and grade school and let them have some, so at least the kids know that you gotta at least come January, you gotta be a valid driver in order to use them.
That would be something that the school would want to put in their little, don't they do like back to school little packets? I mean, I would just hate to be a parent at Christmas time buying this e-scooter, e-bike, and then, 7 days later, all of a sudden, no, you don't fit the criteria, so, I don't know,
Yes.
contact the school and.
Yeah, I was talking with the superintendent this morning and bringing this all up, and I said, I'm gonna bring it to the school, the high school and the grade school, and let them have copies.
Perfect. Great.
So. And I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. I have a few things to go over tonight, so I'm gonna get started here. Last Monday, July 13th, trustee Wackerlin and myself met with the contractor and the engineer. She brought the village contract, with it all highlighted on all the things that need to be adhered to. And we had a long discussion with the contractor and the engineering firm, and I let them know on some of the disappointment things that have been happening here in the community that they haven't lived up to. And according to the contract, they haven't lived up to what they agreed to in the contract. So I applaud Ms. Wackerlin for what she did, work that she did going through all this. Some of the things that we pointed out, they said that they were gonna take care of. But some of it is minor, but I need it taken care of now, not at the end of the project. We still have a long way to go. The project is a 180-day project, 6 months, that's barring rain days and other delays. We had a concern where we had a week go by, no one was here working, and I said, what's going on? I need to know. when people in the community come up to me and ask me, I have to have an answer, not just to shrug and say, I don't know. So that was kind of what we started the meeting for. We went through our concerns. I listened to them and they listened to me. And then 2 hours after our meeting, they cut a gas line at the across the street at the library. So we talked to the library and we didn't open up the doors that day until NICOR could get here and cap the gas line off. Actually, they hit it in 2 different locations. So it's not to blame anybody. That's why you have someone on site to watch these things. It was brought to my attention that maybe it wasn't marked and I could still see the yellow flags out there. Of course, the sidewalk was gone, but it was taken care of. NICOR came here, made it safe. We wanted to make sure that we didn't open the library up and there was kids in there and we had a gas line spewing gas out in the street. Fire department was here, the police were here, ambulance was here, NICOR was here. So it got taken care of, but that's what we're trying to avoid. We're all trying to get through this construction as best we can. It's just some days it all kind of happens all at one time and we're trying to do the very best we can. As always, there's drawings available here to review in our newsletter. If you looked at the back of the newsletter that was sent out, the back of the newsletter actually shows how the streets are gonna look and how they're supposed to look when it's completed. So Carrie said she would put this in there to give residents an idea. The full set of drawings are a little bit more complete. They show you a lot more than the little picture on here. But we will keep informing the general public until this project is done. The next thing I have, I received an authorization. This goes to the Department of Transportation from the engineering firm. The light pole bases that we picked out had increased in cost. So 5 bases for the light pole at 200, let me make sure I have this correct here. $201 per base times 5, so the increase would be $1,005. Now, this is not a bill, and they reminded me that they need authorization, and I wanted to bring it forward, not just authorize this, because at some point we will have to pay for this. They said these bases are what we picked out earlier on. To be completely honest to you, I don't remember what was picked out. So only thing I can do is ask the board before I authorize this. Are you in agreement to increase the cost by $1,005 on these light pole bases?
I'll say that I am. I helped pick out the base. I didn't realize it was gonna be more.
Well, this is not to cast blame. It's just the cost of everything has gone up since this project started.
Yeah.
I don't know when these were picked out. I really don't remember. We have gone through so many different things here with this project. I cannot remember from one to the next. But if I have the approval of the board, all I have to do is reach out to the engineering firm with my consent, and then we will be billed at a later date. So I'll ask the board at this time, Susie, do you agree to this?
Sure.
Ms. Wackerman?
Yes.
Brian Martin,
Reluctantly.
Yes.
Jason Martin.
I would say yes, but one question, is there any possibility we can search for anything for cheaper,
Well,
or is that not at all?
I don't know if it's an option or not. I haven't been told this. I would almost guarantee that these have already been purchased. And the increase is being passed along to us. It was probably sent, how it works is it goes from IDOT and it goes to the engineer and it comes to us for authorization to pay at some point. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I can't guarantee it. I don't have that in writing, but I would say that these were purchased and then they would find out that they were more than the original costs.
Okay.
If it's agreeable to the board, I will go ahead and authorize this. Okay. Next thing I have is, I know we've been working on an intergovernment agreement, with Yellowhead Township, and I have one question because the road commissioner there reached out and wanted to know if we had any hard numbers on what we were gonna charge them for plowing on 9,000.
We actually have, a suggestion of that has to go past Jay and Steve this week. But then what the intergovernmental agreement states is you need a time amount, a fuel amount, and a salt amount. And we've come up with some ideas about that, just needs to be confirmed. And we do have the actual agreement ready to go. We'd put those in and then they'll be fixed.
The only caveat I would add to that is when this was proposed initially, we asked, what do you want to do billing? Those were just 3 categories. We don't necessarily need to do all 3. If they wanted to give us a weekly or a monthly or a per outing or whatever.
Yeah.
We just thought these were the 3 things that you get hit with: someone's time, the equipment, gas,
Yeah.
and then the salt itself, and that would be a good way.
And
We
that,
don't have to do it that way. That's just what we threw out there as an idea.
and that sounds good because it kind of quantifies how much time's used, how much fuel's used, how much salt. I mean, those are kind of guesses as to what, but it
That's
gives us an
the thing.
idea.
It's as needed, so it's
Yeah.
hard to say it'll be 10,000 this year and 7,000 next year, or
Yeah.
hopefully 700 and 500.
Or the fuel is $3.75, or the next month it's $3.35, because that's the bills we paid tonight.
As long as it's
$3.75, it was $3.35, so.
Well, once we come to an agreement, if you two gentlemen could reach out to
Yeah,
Yellowhead Township and say, here's what we're in the process right now, we will have a figure for him. When he asked me, I said, I will try to get the information.
we'll see what we can get going on again.
Go
Jay and I
ahead.
talked about that at the beginning of the meeting tonight.
I'll pick Steve's brain on what he thinks would be the overall cost for.
He has the contact information,
Go.
and he can give it to you, and then you can reach out to them and say, you know, here's where we're at. So, because
Okay.
they probably have to present it to their board of trustees and say, here's where we're at, here's what the village proposes. I know it's July, but it won't be that long before we're gonna have to be dealing with plowing on 9,000.
Ideally, we want.
No, don't talk about winter.
Oh.
Not you.
Ideally, we want to have kind of both boards look at it and reach a
Mhm.
informal agreement in principle before it gets put as formal vote anywhere, because don't want to see comments.
Okay, so we definitely gonna have a copy of it in everybody's hands this next meeting, and whatever Jay and Steve come up with, and whatever Yellowhead Township also kind of agrees tentatively, and then we'll have something for you at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, that sounds good. I appreciate that. Next thing I want to talk about here, receive some information. We're not in an area where we're going to be fine, but the controller's office is looking for the audit for 2025, the TIF audit. They need this paperwork. If we're working on a new firm, I don't know if they can handle this for us. I don't want to get into a position where we're facing another fine. I just got this information the other day from the controller's office. They were nice about it. But it's paperwork that we need to take care of. They're asking in the nicest way possible if we can submit these 3 categories that they're asking. I'd like to get this taken care of because I don't want to see another fine come into the office here. The next thing, I did reach out to our treasurer. He couldn't make it to the meeting. I have some financial questions to ask him. And the only way I can get this information is to talk to him directly. It was brought to my attention earlier, it would be a good idea if we put a sign up, talking where Hillgrove Park is, saying, with an arrow, there's people that live in the community don't even know there's the park down there. So I think that's something that we may want to look into here. Get a cost of a sign, get a locate done somewhere around the corner by the tracks. Have the arrow pointing in Hillgrove Park, Hillgrove Memorial Park, so people actually know where the park is located. We just had a ribbon cutting there not long ago, so we want to take full advantage and have families have fun at the new park.
The tough thing is where are we gonna put the sign? And I think we have to talk with streets to see what, and police, maybe you guys, because we were looking at that corner the other day and it's like, where do you put the sign?
I mean, we do property across some tracks. We rent that whole section of property to the north end from the railroad.
Right.
That's a possibility. Anything along the highway, it would be considered village easement, but then plow can come through and take the sign out and there's not much we can do about it.
Yeah.
So I don't have an idea.
Like we're talking tall signs.
No, just like a regular, like an informational type sign, you know, like what we said.
That just says Yogurt Park and there only.
Yeah,
The one at Helm Park is about this long and about this high and stands up about this high.
What about the corner there, like where we advertise our fall fests and stuff like that?
we could. I mean,
That would be
if the board is in agreement, we'll get a price on the sign. We'll have to have a locate done. We can get the exact location. Just to highlight to the community, doesn't mean if we point it out, people will come there. People that lived here for a number of years don't even know there was a park at that end of town. So we just put a lot of money into this park and we'd like people to
Right.
enjoy it.
What direction people do we want to show it to? Or are we gonna have two?
I'm envisioning just somewhat at an angle. So that you could catch it coming from the north and you're both could see it and have an arrow. Of course, it's gonna point to the house across the kitty corner, but at least it's somewhat going south. You know, I don't,
We'll work on it. We'll get the sign first and then we'll figure out where we're gonna put it. So one step at a time. Another thing too is the benches that we removed out here in front of the village hall. It was suggested that we could use benches at our new park.
Yes.
These benches are in great shape. Because of the project, we had to buy new benches that look like the old benches. So, you won't be able to tell the two any different.
That's excellent. There's only 2 chairs down there, so benches.
So there's 4 benches. My only suggestion is that we pour a rectangle pad and mount the bench on there.
Yeah.
Not because anybody's gonna steal it, because they're so heavy. If anybody rolled it over, this bench probably weighs in excess of 200 pounds. If you roll over and this bench hit you, I think you would be injured. So it would be minimal framing, mark out for Ackerman's, Redhead's, anchor bolt. Drill it, install the bench. We have a nice tree there. Same thing with location. If the board's in agreement, we will move forward on this because at some point here in the fall, we are gonna start doing some landscaping out there. It was suggested that at the north end where it borders the property and where our property starts, maybe some bushes along in there. Some plantings throughout the park to make it spruce it up. We didn't include anything when the park was initially done, simply because of the cost of the park, but it would be better get the park built, see what would look nice where.
And do we have somebody that can guide us with these decisions, like Deb Morgan from the Grant Park Foundation?
We would, I haven't gotten that far yet, one step at a time, but I will reach out. We had talked about a community garden, here at the last meeting, kind of a little bit. There is a property owner here in the village that is willing to donate a portion of his property to have a community garden. And, actually, Mr. Lloyd's said it would be like in front of the greenhouse in that area, that general area would be suitable for community garden. There's been interest. It was brought to me. I thought it was a good idea. Sunrise said they would donate the plants. That would be a community project. So we're going to be looking possibly next year into this.
The Bailey House, Mr. Woods? Okay.
So does anybody have any questions for me at this time? No, okay. At this time, I'd like a motion to go in executive session to talk about personnel.
I'll make a motion to enter your executive session.
I'll second.
Just for the record, basis, the 5 LTS 120/2 C1, appointment of appointment to compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals. 7,